Yeah, Caleb, what was the off season like for you, and just kind of where'd you want to grow, and how do you envision your role being on the team this season?
Yeah, so big thing for all season, I'd say, especially like winter time after bowl game, which is getting more comfortable with the linebacker position. Coming from a safety to like that kind of like stacked linebacker. Also, spring ball was a big part of it for me. Just with me getting a lot more reps and being more in the like that spot. It was just huge for me to get, like I said, more time at that, going in and watching film while we're not as like hectic, like rolling in the season. So, yeah.
You kind of touched on it there, but maybe what else is kind of different for you? What's different today than maybe this time last year or even the first couple of days of spring?
Like I said, I think just getting more comfortable with it, seeing things differently as a linebacker. You're going to approach more contact as a linebacker. You're right there by the lineman. Just seeing things, also just recognizing formations and knowing where to be at. As like a DB when I was in high school, you're kind of sitting back, you see everything. But when you're down, depending on your alignment, that can take away from a play. So not taking myself out of play and, being efficient in what I'm doing.
Are you playing more at one linebacker spot than another right now?
Yes, sir. I'm playing the will linebacker, so more of the weak side linebacker towards the boundary.
Is it behind Beasley, I would assume?
Yes, sir.
But why do you think your skill set fits that well?
I believe that because Coach BJ sees me as a fast, athletic guy that can cover. I can make plays on the weak side, or I can go all the way to the field if need be. So I think he sees me as a guy that can move. He's long, like I'm long and tall, and I can use my speed to my advantage.
Are there any traits that you've taken from being a defensive back that have helped you as a linebacker?
I believe just whenever I see certain formations, kind of seeing it as a broad perspective. Also just covering. I kind of had like a transition with covering like guys man, vertical hooks and stuff like that. So I think that was a big part of it. Being able to play man coverage has helped me a lot, and I'm transitioning that to linebacker now.
In your position, being a second-year guy, and then you see a bunch of talented freshmen come in behind you, does that add a level of urgency for you to make sure you do what you need to get your reps and get your spot?
Yes, sir. Always. Everyone's coming in competing for a spot, and I think that's just the best part about it because, you can't get comfortable and get complacent where you're at. And those guys, like you said, who come in, they're very talented, and that's the good thing. We push each other. We, always look out for each other. So I think it does help with that urgency and know that, like, there's always someone on your tail, so you just got to keep working and getting better every day. Take advantage of it to the fullest.
How has Aaron helped you play in that same spot and kind of helped bring you along? And then what's it also been like to add Keenan to the room this offseason?
Yeah, so Beasley, he's always been a great leader. He's a little bit more quiet, kind of sits back, but, he's always looking out, like looking on the field and seeing what you could do a little bit better. Even in the meeting room, he'll like point out little things with like misreads or even little steps to see where you can get, in a better position. He's been in the game for a while now, and he's been doing his thing. This past season, he had a really good season, and he's kind of got like, his years behind him. So he's been a huge part. And even Keenan's had a lot of years too at BYU, and he's came here and he kind of adds just like a new versatility, like more of like a big, like bigger linebacker, I guess you could say. And, Keenan's got a good leadership role behind him too. So he's been very helpful and always just looking out for the younger guys, and even Beasley, just communicating with each other and, it's pushing us.
How much did y'all make fun of Keenan for his age?
Not too much, but it was funny because I didn't know he was married. I talked about this in my last interview, and I remember he brought it up, and I was like, "You're married?" I had no idea. I thought he was like 23, 24, and then next thing I knew, I was like, "Oh, Lord." So we always just call him an old head, even for Beasley, all those guys, just, trying to get at him, but nothing harmless.
Where are you about in terms of the physicality at this level of college football? I know it's probably something you had to get used to in year one, but it's a physicality kind of come natural to you now?
Yes, sir. I would say that because, you go on the field, you're going to get your stuff rocked a couple of times. That's SEC ball for you. You're going to have your SEC moments when you're playing games. It comes with it. But I think, you see the intensity of practice and how much it's stepped up since high school. So you got to go out there and give your 110% when you're on the field. Because if you don't, you're going to be off the field, and Coach B is going to be on you. But, guys are coming at you full speed. You got to make a move quick and be fast and decisive in what you do. So.
Caleb, have you found yourself making more of those plays where you rock a guy or make a play?
Yes, sir. Just getting hesitation out of my game now. Understand the defense more that comes with it. Just allowing your athletic ability to take over and get out, just letting your body and mind take over and just going full go. So
you're only going into your sophomore season, but you had 3 seniors in the room last year. Now you got 4 new guys with Keenan and the freshmen. How has the room kind of changed, the dynamic of it with all the ins and outs?
I kind of stated on it earlier. A lot of the younger guys and even older guys now, we're all just pushing each other. We feel more like a brotherhood. We still were a brotherhood last year, but I feel like everyone's more bought in this year, if that kind of makes sense. Everyone's just really bought in, like knowing that we can go from A to Z and every linebacker can go in and play it to their fullest with Coach BJ and know what they're doing. And that's the goal overall with the linebacker room, to be the best unit on the field.
Two things I'll ask them separate. One, Coach Jean-Marie was in here and he was talking about how Aaron Beasley's best football is ahead of him, even though he's gotten better. What is the next step for Aaron Beasley? What have you seen in terms of improvement for him that you expect this year?
I think with Beasley, he's always on the field. He can play anywhere. He knows the Mike and Will are both really good. I think just how he's going to be more involved in every play. He's got a good skill set where he can blitz, he can cover. I think just Beasley just being in every play next year is going to be his biggest thing right now. And, he's going to be a big factor on the field this year. So.
And have you had much on-field or off-the-field interactions or exchanges with Emmanuel Okoye on the other side of the ball with
I would say more like off-field, because he's running with the younger guys. But even on-field, he's in my special teams unit, and he's did a great job. I'm proud of him. He's a cool dude. Always talks to us about like his culture and stuff like that. So it's always cool to hear from him. But yeah, no, he's doing his thing, and I'm proud of him, and he's going to be a great player for the program.
We hear that Peely's a very physical linebacker. We also saw that a little bit in spring. But what exactly does that mean? Is it more taking on blocks, meeting a ball carrier? How is he physically mature?
So with Keenan, he's a bigger guy, as stated earlier. He can come downhill. He likes to play downhill. He can go up on O-linemen, you could say, and, block shed from them. He can disrupt on a blitz. He can do a lot of things. He can even cover. That's the thing about him. So he kind of has a factor of, like, is he going to come down and, like, pass rush, or is he going to go back and play coverage? So he kind of gives that versatility of both. But he can also come and lay the wood if need be. So.
Is he a vocal guy? He makes a hit, lets him know it, or is he more quiet?
He's kind of quiet to himself. He'll hit you. Like earlier, we had field goal unit, and he went and knocked a guy, O-lineman, on his butt, and he just kind of like leaned over and helped him up. So it was kind of funny. And then he looked over at me, we just started smiling. But yeah, he's not really too like talkative on the field, besides when it's like defensive communication. So.
Thanks, Caleb.
No problem.